I try to not to argue about. And because it's like politics, everybody's right and everybody's wrong, and I just try to stay out of it. I know what I believe in, and I know how I know things happening to me.
Okay.
And it's like the demon part. I swear, Daniel, I've been in places that if there's any such a thing as a demon, it's going to eat me alive. But it never has. What it is, now I've been squeezed. They say a lot of groups will say that you'll feel a spirit or a ghost if you're walking in a straight line and there is one there. All of a sudden you'll start breathing.
Ooh.
I mean, just like someone just squeezing the devil out of you. Well, what the only thing in my mind is when that's happened to me, it's someone saying, "Hey, listen, I'm here." Otherwise recognize me. You can't shake my hand.
Well,
the only thing you can do is squeeze me.
Let's talk about that, because I was holding I was biting my tongue there when you asked earlier if I had a demon ever try to attack me, and there was a time when something was trying to squeeze the life out of me.
That's it, right there.
Okay, what's that?
Now,
what was it?
Not it. Now, Daniel, I'm going to tell you straight out. I promise you, that was not a demon. That is a spirit.
Ooh.
Only thing it's doing is squeezing you.
Yeah.
It's just letting you know it's there. I laid in my bed a year ago. I laid there in that bed with this thing all over me. It was on me. I couldn't move. You're trying to fight it off. You're wide awake. I'm trying to move my hands, can't move my hands, can't breathe. And I'm trying to raise up, can't raise up. And then all of a sudden, it just released me. And my wife, my first wife, she experienced the very same thing, and I found out from a very good friend of mine. I raised this boy. He was telling me the very same thing happened to him. I let him tell me. I didn't say anything about this. But it's not life-threatening or anything like that. It's just them letting you know that they're there.
Okay, well...
And it's just like you said about being squeezed and the breathing, you just couldn't breathe or anything of that sort.
Right. Okay, now we have a number of questions here, and let's get to this one here.
Yes, sir.
Alan, how do you reconcile going to a fortune teller and being a Christian? Evidently, they're not compatible.
Well, that's the reason you heard me say I was scared to death. And this was 25 years ago. I was scared to death when I pulled up and thinking my mother, who was 150 miles from me, would find out I was there.
Well, now, was it the fortune teller part or the butt ugly part? Which part was making you more scared?
No, it was in your mind at that time. I was scared to death of it because I had always grew up in a church and all this, and that was something we didn't do.
Okay.
And when I pulled up in front of his house, like I said, we was just doing it as a joke on ourselves, because at the time I was a pretty wild guy who didn't care what happened to him or anything like that. My wife and him wanted to go, so it was something to do on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And but no, that don't mean it was right or anything of that sort. But it happened.
Now, did you ever did you ever consult a Ouija board?
No, sir.
Now that's spooky right there.
No,
I advise against that right there.
I just can't do that.
Yeah.
The Ouija board opens up a whole new world that I don't understand.
All right.
And I don't understand this world right now that I'm in. But
the
Ouija board is something that I've heard so many bad reports on, so on.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to do that.
Okay. Now we have this question from Dave. He wants to know, do people have auras?
Do they have what?
Auras. An aura.
The way I understand it, they do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from the science view and the paranormal view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an expert for this, nor do I. I had a lady tell me, when was it? It was about 3 years ago. She walked up to me, and, she sat down beside me, said, "Oh, you look great, you look great, you look great." I said, "Well, I just had a heart attack." "Oh, that's the reason you got this aura around your body." It was a sick aura. Well, how come I look great one second, and then the next second I've got the aura that's causing death? So that had me going in circles.
Mm-hmm. Imagine it would. Hey, now we were talking about this ugly woman here, but I've heard of something called an old woman spirit, and even my neighbor had this, and I've heard it from other people. So sometimes you can get up in the middle of the night, and there'd be like an old lady sitting on the couch or something, usually sitting or reclining. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, sir.
What's going on there?
One of the best spots I've ever seen in my life, like I was mentioning a while ago, the Farnsworth house. First of all, a lot of people who have lost their loved ones, especially elderly, if they've lost their loved ones, listen to them a little bit.
Whoa.
They'll say, "Oh, I seen my husband last night, and he was sitting over on the rocking chair, just a rocking, staring at me."
Oh.
I don't know how many times I've heard this. My own mother, for one.
Yeah.
But, you know, and if they do, it may be your imagination or anything like this. But in the Farnsworth house, I could get me a sip of coffee. My mouth's getting dry.
I'm over here drinking coffee.
Well, I tell you what, go ahead if you would, real quick.
Yeah.
If you got a donut,
yeah,
just deliver it, send it down here to me real quick, because that sure be good.
Sure, I'll just give it to Casper. He'll bring it right over.
You got it, buddy, right there. But what happened about the Farnsworth? The Farnsworth, I've seen so much in this house.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, when I first started going to this house, I'm reading everything everybody has ever wrote about the Farnsworth. And there is a midwife, her name's Murray, and she is supposed to go to each and every room at night checking on you. And, you know, that's what you're saying about the old woman in the rocker.
Well, sure.
So me and my youngest son, we went on our second trip to the Farnsworth. We were in the Sarah Black room, and it was, I remember just plain as day, it was 12:12 a.m. We were burning up, sweat just rolling off us.
Yeah.
So I took the covers off of me, and I told Paul, I said, "Jesus, I can't stand this." Well, he went to sleep, and 20 minutes later, my legs were absolutely like a block of ice.
Whoa.
Now, here I am. When my legs got that cold, now why am I that cold and the rest of my body is burning up? Wow. So I started hitting Paul in the back. Paul. I've got this on camcorder. 33 times I told him about my legs being so cold. Now, I'm not telling you there was a spirit beside of me, but there was a reason my legs got cold, and I did find it out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But that goes with the story about the Murray going to the foot of the bed.
Yeah. What should a person do? And I've heard this a couple times on this program from guests. You wake up in the middle of the night and there's like a dark figure at the base of your bed. Do you think that the best weapon we have is to duck underneath the covers, or do we get out some holy water? Maybe
I'll put it to you like this: that happened to me when I was 9 years old, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
But when I woke up at night, there was a dark figure, just like you just now said, floating in front of my bed. Ooh. Now, I had my eyes wide open, so I was looking and seeing what I saw. And it floated through the doorway into my mom and dad's room. Oh, boy. Well, the next day, my mom gets up. She's real quiet. And she's telling my dad all of this, what happened. I reckon she woke him up at night. But whatever I saw went into their bedroom, and she woke up and seen the very same thing without me even telling her anything. Wow. But believe me, Dan, my head went under them covers, and I didn't want to get back out either. I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to feel like a 2-year-old kid and go in there and crawl between mom and dad. That's what I wanted to do. Well,
I can tell you that happened in our family. Our boys was out at a swimming pool, and the guards started yelling floater, and they ordered everybody out. But I think that's a different kind of floater there.